Welcome back to this second hour of Hereticus, and I think we're loaded up on popcorn and other stuff, so let's get back to the 41st Millennium. So, when we left our...
Oh, I'm going to have to ask this question or I will never forgive myself.
Yeah?
What is the favorite snack in the Eye of Terror?
Please tell
Popcorn?
me.
Popcorn.
No, Joan. Joan. No. Bad Joan. Bad Joan.
You can also have cornflakes for morning.
Yes, work for my cornflake now.
Big sigh.
Breakfast of Chaos Champions.
big sigh indeed.
Can you hear the sound of the blood god raging and revving his chain axe just for you, Joan?
Oh, that was funny. Sorry.
It was kind of fun. I'll give you that. I'll give you that. Lame but fun. Lame but fun.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay. So back to our heroic acolytes.
Heroic? Who the hell are you looking at?
I don't know. You guys. Okay, so Tim, Sister Francesca, and Acolon.
Yep.
Okay.
In any event, what do? So, you were going back to find a cogitator.
A new, a cogitator to, again, try to switch the lights back on.
A cogitator and maybe a goddamn torch.
Oh, that might be a good idea.
A goddamn torch. But then
I was checking my inventory.
Damn it first.
Well, you can tell I'm out of character when I say it, at least. So.
Okay, so you make your way back through the same corridors you've already come through.
Yep.
And they are dark. There's no lights in any of them. So it takes a while for you to get back.
Of course.
But you do arrive back at the cogitator station.
It's a little easier to walk in the dark when you at least have an auspex that tells you where the hallway actually is.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
So yes, we get back there and let Medea get back to work.
Okay.
We need lights and we need the doors to the locked section to be opened.
Let's see how many tries it takes this time. Well, I do have the password, of course.
Yes.
That hasn't been changed. She tries it. Silence.
Heine?
Wait.
She asked.
Oh, sorry. What did you ask?
She's got the password. After all, she set it up with a password, so yes. She's trying and she's trying to use that to see if she can get into the system.
I was just I was writing a whisper, so.
Yeah. Speaking of which, Acolon holds up a hand.
Yes, Acolon.
I hear something. Is it in my head specifically?
Yep.
Someone's speaking in my head.
What is it saying?
First it said, "Help me," and then, "Don't let her do it." He says, looking specifically and nodding specifically at Medea. It said that when she went for the cogitator.
Is typically, Acolon, I am not personally inclined to believe voices in psychers' heads.
I know.
Can't see why.
I am merely informing you it is happening. I did not expect it to have any effect on the outcome, sister.
I am actually asking you, however. I'm not simply ruling it out. I would have you please take note of that. However, can you at all communicate with whoever this is and get answers out of it? Because before I let Medea not turn the lights back on, I should really like to know who it is talking to you.
I can try.
I would also really like for that, whoever it is, to then open the doors and turn the lights on, because without that,
Bing,
Medea
bing,
is
bing,
doing
bing,
it.
bing, bing, bing.
Many?
Yep. So
Where?
the cogitator room you're now standing in has
Mhm.
3 corridors leading away from it,
Yes.
and down from each corridor comes these pings.
Shut the doors immediately. I run to one of them to see if I can manually block it.
Tim runs to another one then.
Aklon the third.
Or quickly shuffles not to run into it.
Okay. Okay, so you do manage to block the doors and shut them.
Yes.
When that's all certain that we're sort of the doors are shut, Aklon tentatively attempts to reach back along the psychic connection if there is one present.
Okay. Well, roll me a Cynicians to see if Akalon feels any psychic presence. Meanwhile, the Auspex indicates that there are bio forms standing outside each of the 3 doors.
How many?
4 outside 2 of them, and 5 outside the 3rd. On the other side of.
Right. We could be in a situation where we need to deal with them individually. But obviously, I tell Akalon to cover one door, Tim to cover another, and I will cover the last one myself, just in case these things somehow manage to open them.
Tim draws his pistol instead. That might be a better weapon for this.
Okay.
Yes, Akalon will take cover behind something to chop up his staff.
Yes.
And aim his las pistol. Also, he informs Sister Francesca that a first attempt at reaching back along the connection has been unsuccessful.
Very well. Very well. Medea, any luck on the cogitator?
I go back to turn on the lights.
Okay. So you've already installed a password, so you get into the system, and according to the system, the lights are already turned on.
Well, obviously they aren't.
Well, if they are already switched on, then there's some other influence that are making them not be on. In that case, do we have any kind of fire suppression systems in the hallways? Not in here, just in the hallways.
Yes. Medea, you can confirm that the facility has fire suppression in all corridors and chambers.
Okay.
Turn them on in the 3 hallways leading into this room for 3 seconds.
3 seconds?
3 seconds, then turn them back off, and then I'll both be listening and checking the Auspex to see how they react out there, because fire suppression systems are typically not very pleasant if you are, a living thing.
All right. She turns those on.
Okay. And Sister Francesca can see on the Auspex that the whoever it is on the other side of the doors reacts. They start running down away from the doors.
I thought so. Good. See if there are any torches in here. Any the light source of any kind. Not on the cogitator. I'm talking about a handheld torch.
Obviously.
Okay. So there are 3 torches in this room.
Excellent.
Woo!
One for each of you 3. I'll hang on to the Auspex.
All right.
Is it possible to attach it to my weapon?
You may need some duct tape or.
You might need some Mechanicus in approved gaffer tape.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be like a small one that you could easily just click into place. I don't know.
No, these aren't
Big
mountable
handheld
torches.
things.
They are exactly.
Larger ones, yeah.
Clunky, huge things.
Yep.
Fair enough.
That said... Oh, sorry, please.
No, but you're more important in this case.
No, that's the wrong expression.
Wrong expression.
No.
What you have to say, I suspect, is more relevant to the continuation of the story in this case.
All right, fair enough. If you insist. Francesca once again checks the Auspex because she kind of expects that once these things realize that the fire suppression system isn't going to stay on, that they are going to come back.
Okay. And they do so. They after a moment or two, they return to within the Auspex range.
Yes. Good. Then what we need to do is prepare ourselves because there is going to be a battle here. There will be a firefight, and it's probably going to be fairly intensive. So we need to set up some kind of defense in here, such as toppling any furniture there is to create a barricade, basically. And then we're going to take them one door at a time.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. You do so. You
want to create the best possible cover and
I think then that Tim puts his torch turned on somewhere facing directly towards the door.
Yeah, that's a smart idea.
That works.
So they'll hopefully be blinded when they get in and he can see.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Cool.
And when that happens, then it's a matter of getting the door opened, some kind of long pole or something to push the beep open. And then somebody does that, and then there will be much shooting going on.
Okay. So Medea and Akalon, how are you? What are you going to do? Set up before this?
Depending on which door we're planning on opening first, Akalon will probably also donate his torch at a closer distance, just in case the first one that's closer to the door fails due to the proximity of these creatures. He'll then prop his staff up within reaching distance nearby himself, behind a set of barricades, and probably help set up some more barricades in that direction.
Okay.
And depending on your graciousness, since I've received another whisper, can I perform another Science check?
Mm-hmm.
Let's see if I can do at least marginally better. Fingers crossed.
What did it say this time?
Don't open the door.
Well, then...
Yes.
Quickly, open the door.
I'm starting to be faintly interested in this. Okay, that's... but clearly you're not able to communicate with it, but do you tell us that that's what it said?
Yes.
Very well. Let us for 1 second play along with this thing. It may be that it's, for all we know, it could be an imperially sanctioned psyker who has worked in the facility. We don't actually know that. And if the presence does not feel malefic or harmful or anything of the sort, I'm willing to let Akalon at least have further attempts at communicating with it, as long as we are barricaded in here anyway. We are safe for the moment.
Does the presence feel malefic or icky in any ways, Game Master?
Well, so the voice, when you hear the voice, it sounds desperate more than anything else.
All right.
Nice. At some point in the not too distant future, I'm going to get through to this thing.
Maybe.
I can hope. I can put my faith in the Emperor.
Like that'll work.
So
Of course
Sister Francesca, I assume at least that you're keeping an eye on the auspex.
I very much am. I'm definitely keeping an eye on the auspex. I'm also telling people to turn off the torches to save the power cells.
Oh, yes.
Done.
Right.
We will need them if we do open a door, but not until then.
Okay.
Before we begin, Accolon says to Sister Francesca, "If needs be, I can call upon my ability to create a flashbang. Only give the command to do so, and I shall."
That will be. Should we open the door at some point, then by all means use whatever abilities you have at your disposal. However, for the time being, I will leave the door locked. However, I do suggest that you try reaching out to this thing by name. We know who it is we are here for. We are here for Alvena Iriax. And if this creature who is communicating with you is Alvena Iriax, then try using the name and see what kind of response you're going to get. Because it should be somewhat interesting.
Okay. Can I just think the name, or do I need to do another senescence check before that?
I think we need another senations check, but if you're using the name while trying to reach out, it becomes a routine test for you. That's a plus 20 modifier.
So if I put
That's
20 in the
pretty good.
modifier, that's fine.
Yep, that's good. Let's hope.
Oh.
Wow!
Nice.
There we go. That got their
Good.
attention.
So you definitely feel a strong presence, a strong psychic presence in this facility. And not only that, but you actually physically see in the direction of the facility's central chamber, you see a purple nimbus of energy, within which floats what appears to be a human.
Mm-hmm.
And what you hear is the following. And I'm typing this out, of course.
Yes, of course. I hear deathly silence. That's informative. I was half expecting to be listening, and then you shout something down the line, and I recoil. But
Oh no.
okay, let's see. So, am I able to think back along the connection? Is it strong enough now?
Yeah. You've established a connection.
Oh,
Yes.
excellent.
Taliesin thinks,
No, not
No,
Taliesin.
he doesn't.
fucking.
That is entirely the wrong game.
I'm not. Yeah, that's true. I'm sorry. I'm getting mixed up. Accolon.
Yes, thank you.
I were
Taliesin,
about to
ladies
say
and
Terran things too, but that no.
Taliesin is not here. Ladies and gentlemen of the listening audience,
Oh.
this is a service announcement. Please go and listen to a song Atara, also available here at CharismaToAC, to find out who the aforementioned Taliesin actually is. Ding dong!
Be nice to him.
I like
I
it.
am!
Yes, Joan. Your idea of being nice to people is odd.
So what does
on, I'm just
Accolon think?
Thinks
Service announcement.
he thinks that Sister Francesca's player should be quiet for a moment, and he and he thinks back on the connection. Is that you in the central chamber?
I'll keep whispering because only Akalon can hear it.
I'll try and make my questions. I'll try and make my questions vague enough that I don't directly answer what's being said.
So,
I could type it out, but then that would take time.
No, don't.
At least it seems, to Francesca, at least it seems like he has actually managed to establish some kind of connection. He seems focused. So she's perfectly content to let him do his thing.
Yes, his eyes go wide and he grits his teeth in concentration.
Yep. And while she may not trust the voices in a psyker's head, she does have a tendency to accept and acknowledge that he is at least sanctioned.
Finally, he thinks. I think he thinks. And who are they?
okay.
Depending on how this next answer is, he may be tempted to say something else afterwards, but we'll see. Okay, yeah, he reacts to that. I think he recoils and severs the link.
Okay.
So, what did you learn?
In the central chamber, a
Yes.
figure suspended in an aura of vile purple, and a voice. Don't let them get me. They torment me. Don't let them get me. I asked this voice who they were. It only said the chaos. I severed the connection after that.
That is the right thing to do. You have acted well. Provided we get out of this, God Emperor willing, I shall make sure to commend your actions to the Inquisitor.
My thanks, Sister Francesca, though. Let us at least focus on completing this mission and then getting out of here alive.
Oh, yes. However, we are still in the same predicament as before. We are in fact not able to get out of here. However, I can do something for you. I can shield you from the vile emanations of demons. Consequently, you should be able to lead a full conversation with this creature without any ill effect. We need information, Akalon. I can do this. I have in fact already demonstrated it to you during training.
Yes. Yes, the other voices, the choir of madness quieted for a moment.
Yes, I will be able to do that should you need it, and I do believe that you need it.
Very well.
Francesca closes her eyes and says, "Let me know when you have reestablished the connection."
Taliesin actively sits down.
No.
He doesn't sit down?
Well, I'm not sure what Tally does. What does
Oh, for
Akalon
fuck's
do?
sake, just... Yeah. I'm so used to saying Taliesin.
Yes, it's fine. Don't worry about it.
I just think
Akalon.
it's funny.
It is funny.
It's
Yes, it
No,
is.
it isn't. It is irritating beyond all belief, is what it is. Akalon sits down. No, don't be, it's fine. He sits down with his pistol next to him, takes his staff and holds it in both hands, not in the way you're thinking of, though, and closes his eyes and reaches out again for a connection. Shall I roll another check?
No. You did. You had almost 5 degrees last time, so
you can easily get a hold of her again. It's an open phone line, I think.
Yes, let's see if your holy shield actually interrupts the call, as it were.
That's one of the things that we might learn something from should it happen. But the moment that he indicates that he has connection, Francesca uses her faith power, and which is called Holy Radiance, and she begins to glow with this aura corona of holy energy. And one of the effects of this, of course, is that it's a significant bonus to checks against fear, and all demonic presence. You are basically immune to demonic presence.
I
Nice.
think Tim adds a prayer of his own as she does.
And
that.
it does affect the other two as well. Obviously, it's everyone everybody who can see her, and she's quite easy to see right now because she's quite literally glowing.
Okay.
So
So the connection is established.
Yeah, but before Akalon actually tries speaking with the entity
Whatever.
again, I need to know if Tim, are you still actively guarding, providing overwatch, as it were? Correct?
Tim,
Sorry, you lost me at Overwatch. I was like, oh yeah, I play that game. Could you repeat that?
I was just asking if Tim is still providing Overwatch.
Yes, but as I said, he's adding in a prayer to join in with her. But aside from that, he's definitely not playing Overwatch. He's adding Overwatch.
yes, he is keeping watch on the door.
Cool.
Yes.
And Medea, what's she doing while all this is happening?
Well, at least she's seen Miss Fleshy Lady do that before, so she isn't running away.
Oh, that would be a bad idea.
That would be a very bad idea.
Yeah.
She is just keeping watch.
Okay.
She doesn't like this. He's icky when he does that.
Yeah, fair enough.
So she's looking at the door specifically.
Okay.
Because he's icky when he does that.
Okay. And also, Sister Francesca, the figures outside the door, on the other side of the door, they're all standing still. They're not moving at all. So, Akalon, you have established you as soon as you try reaching out to this entity, you realize that the connection is there. It's you can communicate.
You spoke the chaos, but you do not speak plainly. I must know. Are you or are you not Alvena Iriax? Just wait for the GM.
Yeah.
Right. His helpfully vague answer.
I'm afraid it won't get any less vague.
If you refer to Iriax herself, then no.
Thank goodness I can keep this power up as long as I actually want.
Yes. There are others with me, but they are sanctioned in the light of... Okay, fair enough. I wasn't. Who then?
Oh. Roll 20 just...
Died.
Yeah, pretty much. I'll know exactly, but...
How dare it?
Yes.
Well,
Interesting. That's a way of giving suspense. Nope.
Oh yes, definitely it works. I'm actually sitting here hearing half a conversation and having an absolute blast.
Yes, it is fun,
And
isn't
then
it?
roll. Dun, dun.
She shields me from malefic influence, from the taint of the warp. Why? Why does it concern you?
God. Okay, sorry. Roll 20 is being a bit of an arse.
Okay.
Why am I the only one still in it though?
I can see you all in it.
Yes,
Me
I know.
too.
I'll just try reloading.
Yeah.
Me too.
It says I'm in it.
Yes, I only see. I see you all are. And why not? What lies beyond?
Stranger danger. Stranger danger.
Are these people possessed?
The bodies who attack us. Are they possessed? That does not answer my question. Dead and the dead and the living can be possessed in equal measure.
Well, that kind of makes sense. Maybe they weren't dead.
I think they
There's no-
were.
They
Wait.
are very dead.
They have been dead for a good while, so yes, they are possessed and reanimated. Which means we must bring the Emperor's mercy to them.
Mhm.
However,
This last
yes,
bit,
sorry.
I just need to say this. This last bit, Akalon, is a scream, an actual scream in your head.
What?
Screams.
Well, that were nice.
What is it saying? And while it is screaming, or is it just the scream? Is it just an incoherent scream?
It screams no.
We cannot stay in here indefinitely. It is that simple.
I agree. The poor souls outside are dead and must be.
Inform this thing that we will be leaving, and if it does not want us to kill these things, then it must inform us plainly of what to do instead. If this is a matter of us bringing Alvena Ariax back in one piece, then if it has any information on how to do this, it will tell us, or we will be forced to act.
Akalon thinks. I assume that these words reach you. Yes. It says we must not open the door, or she will perish. We will all perish.
Then what must we do instead?
Does Akalon ask this question?
Yes, he does.
Okay.
Sorry, the reason I say silence, I assumed that Yeah. Okay. I'll just keep on replying back as well.
Okay, cool.
Where?
Medea,
Mm-hmm.
check if there are any grates in the floor or similar in the ceiling that we can use to get out of here without opening the doors.
Medea goes to look around.
Take one of the torches and use that.
She's already carrying one of the torches.
Okay.
And what did she intend to do?
Find another way out.
Okay,
This is a good way to use her awareness.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Could you roll me an awareness, please?
Probably the best qualified to find strange ways out of narrow places.
It says I have +10, so I roll perception +10.
Yes.
Meanwhile,
Modifier 10.
yes. If the warp and sensing through it is a place. Oh, hello.
Oops.
That place is still shut.
Well, it's not a critical failure, so she just doesn't find anything.
No.
That's probably because it's dark or something.
Accolon physically actually almost scoffs at the response that he received, and looks to Francesca again, slightly incredulously.
Mm-hmm. What is it?
It wishes for us to go to it. It says it resides in the warp.
Yes, I'm sure it wants us to go right there. That is not going to happen. The warp is a place of immeasurable evil that taints man's soul. You know this as well as I do.
I do. Again, I merely inform you. I do not intend to follow through.
I know that, and I thank you for the clarity of your response. But no, we are in fact not going to anything in the warp. It must think us utterly foolish.
Well, do you think us foolish? Accolon thinks back.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Of course it does, but
Also, to resolve the awareness test that Medea made earlier, there are no other exits from this room other than the 3 doors. There is a ventilation system, but it's simply not big enough for Sister Francesca to move through, and you wouldn't be able to really, you imagine. So yeah, no other exits than the 3 doors.
In that case, please do get back on the cogitator and see if there are any further systems available that we might be able to use. They did not like the fire resistance or the fire suppression systems. They really did not like those. I would suggest turning them on for, let us say, 15 seconds everywhere but in the central chamber and in this room.
All right.
If they are in fact harmed by this, they should die from 15 seconds of exposure to it.
Okay, so you return to the cogitator, and you mean to turn on the fire suppression system throughout the facility, and except the central chamber and the chamber you're in. So when you sit down in front of the cogitator and start doing what it is people do when using a cogitator. You
Bleep bloop.
exactly. For a split second, you're absolutely certain that you see a screaming woman's face on the screen. Only for a split second, then it's gone.
Ghost in the machine.
The only thing the others see is her jumping back with a slight hiss before looking at the screen again and poking it, tentatively, like, what the fuck is that?
Francesca moves over towards her again. As long as she's within range, then obviously demonic presence is
Sure.
Is negated. But it's as long as it's. Whew, never have I been so happy to have a faith power as right now.
Yep.
Yes.
Also-
She looks at the cogitator and says, "What is it?"
Screaming woman's face. It's okay. I'm kind of used to them, just not on a screen.
Hmm.
And then she goes back to work.
Good.
As GM, have you seen the
Yep.
the whisper response? Okay, yeah.
And what did Medea do again? Sorry.
She goes back to...
To the
I got
cogitator.
distracted by the screaming woman's face. What was I supposed to do again?
Turn on the
yeah.
fire suppression system in the
All
entire
right,
facility,
I'm gonna play with the fire suppression system.
except in the central
Yep.
chamber and the room we are in.
Yep. And that's an easy matter. You press a few runes, and the surprise is words. Fire suppression system is turned on, and the effect is immediate. The figure standing on the other side of the door, they start running away from where you are.
Yeah, they can run until they turn blue in the face, really, because if it's everywhere, they aren't going to escape it.
Nope.
And that's why I'm saying keep it on for 15 seconds, and then turn it off, and I'll see how many of them return.
All right.
The good thing about something like this is, strictly speaking, it should be something that we could turn on for a very long time. So the fact that I'm just using it in bursts like this should give us some kind of indication.
Poor guy has to do two things at once: respond to you and respond to me.
It's not very nice, I know.
Okay, so you leave the fire suppression system on for 15 seconds.
Yes.
And then you turn it back off, and nothing happens.
They don't come back.
Nope.
Try asking her if we can open the door now.
I do so.
Okay.
He also informs Francesca of the things it has otherwise said to him until then, that she is in pain, or that the thing claims to be in pain, that it claims to be trapped, that the warp is all around it and it burns.
Yes, I'm sure it does.
And again, does so in a purely clinical manner. He doesn't.
No.
No particular sense of sympathy comes from him in this regard.
No, if Francesca notices this, and with clear satisfaction, because that's the correct way of responding in a situation like that, and she says, if this entity is in fact demonic, then it belongs in the warp. And the fact that it is burning there is its rightful retribution for being a demon, and therefore an affront to the Emperor. If it is not a demon, but a person, then that person has either earned its place in the warp and deserves to be there as retribution for being an affront to the Emperor, or it should put its faith in the Emperor and it will go to his right side. However, we cannot and should not feel pity for the demon.
I agree. So, what shall be our next course of action?
Did she respond to whether we could open the doors now?
She did,
What did
and
she-
apparently we can't.
That is not my concern. She is not keeping us here permanently. If she is not willing to give us concrete answers as to what to do, we will be leaving this place.
Remember that earlier I sensed the presence of an eldritch being in the center of this facility.
Yes, I remember. And you have also seen this thing, you say, in there. I am convinced that we must go there and finish this threat.
Yes. We must move quickly and decisively.
Yes, we must indeed. And we will do so. Francesca checks the map and the auspex to find the swiftest way to where this creature is, in this eldritch being, as he calls it, in the central chamber. When we get there, should it attempt to do harm to us, then yes, obviously, we must stop it from doing so. Should it attempt to do harm to her, then I rely on you to defeat it, should it need your particular skills. The rest of us will, in that case, keep whatever comes at you from the hallways off you.
I will do all that I can.
Good. She looks to the other two and says, I have a route. We cannot be kept prisoners here indefinitely. We will move.
Understood.
I am giving this creature one final chance, she says, and looks at Achelon.
Who indeed make sure that this can be heard on his end.
I am giving this creature one final chance to speak in plain terms as to what we can do to prevent its destruction other than staying in this room forever. If it does not give us a clear answer, we shall in fact be forced to leave.
Okay.
Achelon is ready to kill the connection at a moment's notice in case this entity turns sour, as it were.
He's still shielded, but yes.
Yes, of course, but even so.
Even so, yes, definitely.
One shakes his head even as he severs the connection.
Still nothing concrete, I take
No
it?
answers.
No
Only
answer.
pleased to be released from its torment. No answers. We
Yes,
must know.
we shall be releasing it from its torment, if through no other means than through bolter fire. And then she looks to the other two and again makes sure that her bolter is ready. Takes a deep breath, sends a quick prayer to the Emperor, keeps the halo going, and opens the door. And she's ready to fire instantly if something has crept up out there.
Okay. Okay.
Likewise.
Cool.
Go
So
with the pew pew.
Very ready with pew pew. We do
very
not like them.
ready with pew pew. Okay. So the cogitator indicates that the hallways are lit, lights turned on,
But they're
and
not.
yet when you open the door, you see that is indeed not the case. They are lost in darkness. So you start moving down.
I bring my flashlight.
You bring your torch, cool. And the same goes for Medea, and there was one more torch, if I recall.
Accolons.
And that's Accolon. And you, Medea. Oh, sorry, Francesca. You have the Auspex. Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Now Accolon has. I imagine he'll have a means to tie his staff to his back, so he can carry the torch in one hand and the pistol in the other.
Okay.
Yeah, probably he's got some kind of, I don't know, scabbard or holder on his back.
Scabbard or a sling, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I was going to make a joke saying that Accolon brings his flashlight and his torch as well.
Anyway. So you start moving down the dark hallways, making your way. Sister Francesca, you've determined a route for you to take.
Yep.
And basically, you're backtracking. You're going the same way you went to get to here. When you
Yes.
And the light from your torches is the only light that you have, and
Yes.
they cast all sorts of weird shadows. In the as you shine the lights into the containment cells for the prisoners, and these strange contraptions that stand within each, and you get no pings on the Auspex, so that's something at least.
The fire suppression thing seems to actually have killed these shits off.
So
it seems that way, at least.
Yeah. And you know that each section has a chapel,
Right.
and you know you're coming up on this section's chapel. You went through it earlier.
Then that is definitely a place we need to get into.
Except
Yeah?
when you approach the chapel, you're certain that it's closed now. You can see it on the blueprint. You start seeing pings on your Auspex.
From the chapel?
From the chapel, spread out throughout the chapel.
Cannot allow ourselves to deviate from the mission at hand. However, it might be possible to shut them in. Check the... Are they coming towards us? Or
No,
are they
they're
in there?
They're stationary at this point.
Yes, good. Then what we will do, or what I will do, is very quickly check the the blueprints for the place, or the schematics for the place, and see if there is a way to shut the door to the chapel from where we are, or where we're coming up. I would prefer it if I could shut it from, basically right outside the place, so we can shine the torches in there, quickly ascertain what the fuck is in there, and then shut it.
Well, each door in the facility has its own locking mechanism.
Yes.
But you also know that there are several entrances into the chapel, more than you have.
Yes.
And you can do a shutdown from the cogitator station you just left. That is possible, where you sorry, you lock the doors simultaneously.
Then that is obviously what we have to do. However, we've just left the place, but we need to go back, because now at least we know where these things are.
Yeah.
So backtracking to there, I'm not closing the doors, the door behind us when we get back into this place, but Francesca is keeping overwatch down that corridor just in case.
Okay. And what are the rest of you doing? You do get back to the cogitator station without incident.
I want, before you shut the door in there, Medea, check the surveillance cameras, or see if there is, there must be an internal Auspex system for the whole area that we could access from the cogitator, which is bigger than, what I can carry around in my hand. I want to see if there are still pings in there, because if they have moved out after we left, then we're no further. So I want to, check that these creatures, whatever the hell they are in the actual chapel, and then shut the doors to the chapel.
Okay. So Medea, since you've already you already used the cogitator, you've set a password and such, you don't need to roll to use it now. The cogitator actually does have a what's it called? An Auspex is really the best.
Yeah, it's an internal motion sensor.
Oh, sorry, Medea, I can't hear you. Try speaking again.
Hi.
Hey.
Oh, there
okay.
you are.
Okay. Cool.
How much have we missed?
I were about to say that I were going to check the surveillance, and then you started the round on checking the surveillance.
Oh.
Okay. Okay.
Well,
so
yeah.
At least we agreed.
Yeah, I was just like, either they didn't hear me, or I didn't speak up like I normally don't.
I didn't hear you. I'm
No,
sorry.
there was no sound from you at all.
So what I
Great.
like, what I
Let it be heard. I hate Discord too.
Yes.
What I imagine happens is that so Sister Francesca starts blabbering on about wanting to check surveillance and such, and before
I don't blabber.
and before she can get far, I imagine Medea just raising a hand and just, I don't know, it just does it, or says something smart ass that only Medea can say.
Like I already did that.
Yeah, exactly. While
you
you were
don't have to talk anymore.
Yeah, cool. I love it.
Oh.
It is on my clock 9:05, and
Yes.
I desperately need the toilet.
Yes, let's take our final break, and we'll be right back.